Hello everyone. Today in chapter 8, we will first begin by looking at what is a homogeneous function. Let me give you a proper definition of the concept. A function, that is say fxy, any equation in x and y, is said to be a homogeneous function of degree n. If we have f lambda x, lambda y is equal to lambda raised to n xy, where lambda is a non-zero constant. Now, this definition is not there for you in the chapter, but then you have to study about homogeneous differential equations. So, without knowing what is a homogeneous function, you will not be able to understand that concept. And that is why I thought I would include this particular definition and this concept for you in this chapter. Now, this was the official definition of the function. Now, let us see certain examples and try to understand better the concept of a homogeneous function. Now, for example, let me give you several examples over here. For example, the first case, suppose we have a function in x and y called as fxy. Now, remember, f can be g or h or p or anything. You can add any letter over here. It does not make any difference. So, fxy is a function such that we have y square plus 2xy. Now, let us see if this particular function obeys this rule. That is, if we take lambda x, lambda y, can we convert it into this particular form? So here, f of lambda x, lambda y, what we do here on the RHS is that we just put lambda x instead of x and we put lambda y instead of y. So we have lambda y square, that is, it will become lambda square y square plus 2 lambda x. देखो x के बदले में lambda x and instead of y we put lambda y. This way. So this becomes lambda square y square plus 2 lambda square xy. And this would become then lambda square can be taken common. We have y square plus 2xy. So thus we have f of lambda x, lambda y is equal to lambda square y square plus 2xy, which is nothing but lambda square of into f of xy. So it is coming exactly like the definition. Definition was f of lambda x, lambda y should be lambda raised to n xy. So we have lambda square fxy. In this case it is fxy. So the function fxy is coming over here. So now what is the degree of this particular function? The degree of this function is the degree to which lambda has been raised over here. So in this case, the degree is 2. So this is a homogeneous function and the degree of this function is 2. So thus we have the homogeneous example of a homogeneous function. Let me tell you one more example. Let me give you another example here. Say the second example. Suppose we have fxy is equal to x cube plus y cube minus 5x square y. Can we convert it into the form that is f of lambda x, lambda y? Of course we can. Instead of x we'll write lambda x and instead of y we'll write lambda y. So here we get x cube which becomes lambda cube x cube. Y cube becomes lambda cube y cube minus 5 lambda square x square into lambda y. So here we can take lambda cube common and therefore we get x cube plus y cube minus 5x square y. As you can see over here also lambda square into lambda becomes lambda cube, so we have taken it common. So this is of the form lambda cube into fxy. And therefore it's a homogeneous function. And what is the degree of this function? The degree of this function is 3. A third example to make you understand in a better manner. Suppose we have fxy is equal to xy plus 2x. What is f of lambda x lambda y? This becomes lambda x into lambda y plus 2 lambda x. Now here it becomes lambda square xy plus 2 lambda x. Now what do you see over here? You see that we cannot take lambda or lambda square common and get fxy, isn't it? Even if we take lambda common, we are not getting fxy, that is xy plus 2x doesn't come in the bracket because we get lambda xy plus 2x. So this lambda is coming extra, which we cannot take it outside the bracket. That means this is not a homogeneous function, and therefore we do not have to discuss the degree of the function also. So now I hope you have understood what is the meaning of a homogeneous function. Now on the basis of a homogeneous function, we also define a homogeneous differential equation. So this is what is going to be today's lecture and the exercise that is to follow. Now the definition is a differential equation, say fxy dx. See, whenever you see dx, it's a differential equation, plus gxy dy is equal to 0. So this is a differential equation. This equation is said to be a homogeneous differential equation if the functions involved there, that is fxy and gxy, are homogeneous functions of the same degree. So remember this, all these conditions are to be fulfilled actually. So a differential equation can be a homogeneous differential equation if the functions involved in it are homogeneous functions, and that too they have the same degree. Then we can say that the differential equation is a homogeneous differential equation. So again, we can understand in a better manner if we take examples over here. So let me show it to you with the help of some examples. Say the first example, suppose I give you a function such as x cube dx plus y cube dy is equal to 0. So this is a differential equation. How do we know that it is a differential equation? Because we have dx and dy involved over here. Now is this homogeneous in this case? So suppose fxy is x cube. So we put fxy is equal to x cube, and therefore f of lambda x lambda y becomes lambda, of course y is not there here, so lambda cube x cube, which is lambda cube into fxy. So this is indeed a homogeneous function, and the degree of it is 3 because lambda cube, so degree is 3. What about this other function given here? So suppose we put it as gxy. Gxy is y cube, and in the same way, by now you must have guessed the answer even. So in the same way, g lambda x lambda y is equal to lambda cube y cube, which is nothing but lambda cube into gxy. That means this is again a homogeneous function, and the degree of it is 3. That means both these functions which are involved in the question was x cube dx plus y cube dy. Both the functions involved are homogeneous functions and they have the same degree. That means this is a homogeneous differential equation. So it's a homogeneous differential equation. Another example, say x square y dx plus 8y cube dy is equal to 0 is given. Now again you can check out these two functions. What about this function? Is it a homogeneous function? Yes, it is a homogeneous function. You can work it out and see. Okay, and what is the degree of this function? The degree of this function is 3. What about this particular function? Again we see that it's a homogeneous function. The reasons I've told you, and it has a degree 3. That means both of these are homogeneous functions and they have the same degree. That means the given equation is a homogeneous differential equation. Say another example. Suppose there is x square y square dx plus x cube dy is equal to anything, say 0. Now in this case, the function over here, the first function x square y square, what is the degree of x square y square? The degree of x square y square is 4, that is lambda raised to 4 we get. So we get the degree of this is 4 and the degree of this particular function is 3. That means although both of them are homogeneous functions, their degree is different. That means a differential equation formed from them is a non-homogeneous differential equation. Now homogeneous differential equations and non-homogeneous differential equations are solved by slightly different methods. Here we are going to deal with only homogeneous equations, differential equations. We are not going to deal with non-homogeneous differential equations. So you can just go through the definition once again and then we can go on to the how to solve a homogeneous differential equation, that is it. So let us go through the method of solving a homogeneous equation now, homogeneous differential equation now. Remember, solving a homogeneous differential equation means solving any differential equation means removing dx and dy and getting a proper equation. So for example, the given equation is fxy dx plus gxy dy is equal to 0. Now there are various steps to be used and these steps are going to be more or less the same for all the sums that we are going to do over here. Now the first step after writing the question, the first step would be write the equation as dy by dx is equal to f of xy upon g of xy. That will be obvious actually. If you take this gxy on the RHS, it will become fxy dx is equal to minus dxy dy. Of course, that minus sign can be there. Okay, but while we are not going to put the minus sign over here, we are not going to complicate the matters. This we'll see when we are solving the sums. So this goes that side and then we rearrange it as dx upon dy upon dx. Automatically it becomes fxy upon gxy on the other side. So we first write this way in this equation, in this form. Then in the second step, substitute. Always the substitution is going to be same in this case. As far as possible, the substitution step is going to be same. What is it going to be? It is going to be this way. That is, substitute y is equal to tx. Y is equal to tx. Remember, if y is tx, then t will be y upon x. So we are going to write wherever y is there as t into x. Then the third step, when we put y as tx and differentiate both the sides. So the next step is differentiate both the sides. So differentiate both the sides with respect to x. So when we differentiate both the sides of this particular equation with respect to x, on the LHS we get dy by dx. And what about the RHS? RHS u into v rule. So t into, see, t is not a constant, it's a variable. So t into x. So it becomes t ddx of x is 1 plus x ddx of t is what? dt by dx. So t plus x dt by dx by using the u into v rule, that is a product rule of differentiation. Remember that. Then in the next step, in the fourth step, we rearrange the equation. See, dy by dx is t plus x dt by dx. So in this particular equation, dy by dx can be written as this way, that is t plus x dt by dx, which is equal to now t plus x dt by dx. And on the RHS in this particular equation, now I cannot show it to you unless there is a question, but wherever y term is there, wherever there is y, we substitute that y as t into x. So for example, this becomes f of x into x comma tx, and over here also g into x comma tx again. Instead of y we put tx. Now this step you'll understand when we do certain examples, actually when we actually do the sums. But then the next step, in the fifth step over here, we convert the equation into variable separable form. Convert the equation into variable separable form. Now you must remember what is a variable separable form, because we have done it earlier. We separate the variables in such a way that along the x terms come with dx and the t containing terms come with dt. So we separate the variables on both the sides of the equal to sign. So thus it becomes the variable separable form. Once we convert this into the variable separable form, the reason why we convert it into variable separable form is that we can then integrate the equation. So the next step naturally which follows is integrate both the sides. So integrate both sides. So as you can understand by now, integration is a very important chapter, because after integration there are two chapters at least which deal with integration. Differentiation, of course, by now you must be thorough with, but do not leave integration for option. You have to learn the steps of integration, at least the basic steps you must know, because there are various methods which are going to come over here involving integration. The various methods of integration that we studied over here. Then once we integrate, we get our answer. Now that is not a complete answer, because we have to resubstitute them. Last step, resubstitute. T is equal to y upon x. We had put y as tx. We get the answer in terms of t. We resubstitute this t is equal to y upon x. And thus we get the solution. Now when you read these steps, it looks a bit overwhelming. It looks as if too many steps are there. But then as you do more and more sums, you will get more familiar and you will find the method to be easy and proper enough to be done. We begin with exercise 8.4 now. The question is, solve the differential equations. Following differential equations. The first one, x dx plus 2y dx is equal to 0 they have given. Just correct that dx and put dy in this case. Now it's a correct question. Now the good news here is that for this particular question at least, we don't have to substitute or anything. We just integrate both the sides. So integrating, we are getting integral x dx plus integral 2y dy. It is customary to put c over here. So c is equal to integral of 0 is 0 itself. This way. Now you know that the integral of x is x square upon 2 plus 2 is a constant. The integral of y is y square upon 2 plus c is equal to 0. Now see, just for representation purposes, let us put this c as c1. You will understand why I am telling you this. Then we eliminate this. See, this is as good as solving the differential equation. This is as good as getting solved. But then now what happens is that the answer which is given in textbook may be slightly different from this. So to get the textbook answer, what do we do here? We cross multiply with 2. We eliminate the denominator from here. And therefore we get x square plus 2y square plus 2c1 is equal to 0. Because 2 goes that side. 0 into 2 is 0 itself. That way. And therefore we can write x square plus 2y square is equal to minus 2c1. Now this 2c1 minus 2c1 is a constant. It can be converted into a new constant called as c. So this can be written as a new constant, that is c. So therefore we get our final answer, that is x square plus 2y square is equal to c. Why so? We can write the reason here, because minus 2c1 is equal to c. So this becomes the answer as it is given in textbook, that is it. Now the second question, y square dx plus xy plus x square dy is equal to 0 is given to us. Now see carefully as to how the sum is done. The first step, we separate out the dx containing term from the dy containing term, that is it. So thus we are going to get over here y square dx. So it is y square dx is equal to minus xy plus x square dy. So both the dx and dy terms are separated. Now we follow the steps which we studied earlier. That is, we write this in the form of dy by dx. So when we take dx this side on the RHS, it becomes dy by dx. So we write it over here, dy by dx is equal to, now in this case what is done is that y square is taken, that is xy plus x square, that is minus xy plus x square is taken on the other side. So we get y square upon minus xy plus x square. So thus we have written this in terms of dy by dx, that is it. So suppose this is our first equation, equation number 1, just for convenience we are numbering it. Then in the next step we start the, in the next that is step, that is it, we do the next step of our what method that we learned. Okay, so we write let y is equal to t into x. Let y is equal to t into x, and therefore now we differentiate both the sides. So differentiating, so this is say 2, and differentiating both the sides of this particular equation. So I'll just write over here differentiating with respect to x. We get dy by dx is equal to, dy by dx becomes now t into x. Yes, we use the product rule of differentiation. So we get t plus x dt by dx. This step is going to be fairly common for all the sums that you're going to do over here. So this is our third equation. Now from 1, 2 and 3, what do we get? Observe over here now. Now from 1, in 1 dy by dx is given, but from the third equation dy by dx can be substituted as t plus x dt upon dx. So equation 1 becomes this way, that is instead of dy by dx we write t plus x dt upon dx. Okay, so I hope you understood what was done over here. See, dy by dx is there, instead of that we write the RHS over here. Okay, we write equation 3 value over here now is equal to, now from 2 y is t into x. So in equation 1 wherever y comes we put that y as t into x. So the RHS of equation 1 now becomes, instead of y square we write t square x square upon xy. So there is a minus sign, this minus sign can be taken to the numerator and therefore we write a minus sign there, and xy is written as x into tx, y is tx, remember, plus x square, and thus now we get t plus x dt upon dx is equal to minus t square x square upon, now x into x is x square, there is an x square term here also, so we take the x square term common, so x square into t plus 1. So now what happens is that now this x square gets cancelled, so this gets cancelled, and therefore we have t plus x dt upon dx is equal to minus t square upon t plus 1. Let us take the t term on the RHS because we want to convert this into variable separable form. If you remember, that is the next step actually. We have to convert the equation into variable separable form. So we take t on the RHS, so we get x dt upon dx is equal to minus t square upon t plus 1 minus t. Now to simplify this further, this does not look very presentable, isn't it? To simplify this further, we equalize the denominator in both the sides, in both the terms by cross multiplying. So we get over here x dt upon dx is equal to minus t square minus t into t plus 1. And now the denominator is common, t plus 1 becomes the denominator. Let us simplify this further over here. So when we open the bracket, we get minus t square minus, now t into t is t square and minus t into 1 is minus t upon t plus 1 we are getting. Then in the next step, we get over here x dt by dx is equal to minus 2t square minus t upon t plus 1. So this is what we got over here. Now we can separate the variables. We can keep only the x containing term on one side and take the dt on the other side. Okay, of course in our own way. That is what we do over here is that we take dx, x upon dx on the RHS. It will become the reciprocal dx upon x. So let us write the dx upon x over here. So dx upon x is equal to, now we bring this fraction on the LHS. When we bring this particular fraction minus 2t square minus t upon t plus 1 to the LHS, it becomes a reciprocal. It becomes t plus 1 upon minus, let us keep the minus sign common over here. So we get 2t square plus t dt. So now as you can see, the variables have been separated in this case. The variables have been separated. Now we can even write it in a better manner by putting, the convention is by putting t plus 1 upon minus, not even the minus sign, I'll tell you what we do with the minus sign, 2t square plus t dt on one side is equal to, let us send the minus sign on the other side. It becomes minus dx upon x. So now this is in presentable proper form. It is easy enough now to integrate at least. Okay, put the integration sign at least, it is easy enough. So now integrating. So integrating, we get integral t plus 1 upon 2t square plus t dt is equal to the integral, let the minus sign be outside, 1 upon x dx. And we can also put a plus c over here, doesn't make a difference, you put plus c over here. Now we have to solve by integration both the sides. Of course on the RHS you know that 1 upon x dx, when we integrate it, it is going to come as log x. What about the LHS? Well, in the LHS we do it this way, that is we write this as integral t plus 1 upon, now we take t common over here, t into twice of t plus 1 dt is equal to minus integral 1 upon x dx plus c. Now we adjust the denominator, this term in the denominator 2t plus 1, we adjust it in the numerator, and therefore we are going to get, see, already t is there in the numerator, plus 1 is already there. We just have to bring it to 2t. So twice of t we put over here, 2t plus 1, and to balance it we put minus t. This is one of the methods. You can either solve it by partial fractions or by adjusting the denominator in the numerator. That method, any one method you can use over here. So I am using the later method. This way. Then in the next step, let us separate the variables now. Okay, let us separate the two terms over here, rather let us separate the two terms over here. So this becomes one term and this becomes the other term. So we have 2t plus 1 upon t into 2t plus 1. All this we are doing to solve it, and the more you are thorough with your integration chapter, the more you'll understand over here. Minus integral t upon t into 2t plus 1. So we separated the denominator, we separated the terms. Okay, is equal to RHS remains the same. till we get the answer, the RHS is going to be the same only. Now here, of course, 2t plus 1 term goes away. We can cancel it out. And here again, the t term goes away. So we have integral. Now it will look more simpler to you. So we have integral 1 upon t dt minus integral 1 upon 2t plus 1 dt is equal to minus integral 1 upon x dx plus c. Now we can find the answer for all these terms, because we know that on the LHS as well as the RHS we are going to get log as the answer, isn't it? Because 1 upon t dt, the answer for that is log t, log mod of t, minus 1 upon 2t plus 1 also will give us log of mod of 2t plus 1. Because it is twice of t and not t, we also put upon 2. That is the rule for integration. So we also put upon 2 is equal to, here of course we are going to get minus log mod of x. And let us write this c as log c. C is a constant, log c is also a constant, so it doesn't make a difference over here. Just to get our answer properly, we are going to get log c over here. Then, now doing further, let us cross multiply this 2 over here just to get the answer in a proper form. Okay, let us write this denominator, let us make the denominator common over here. So we get 2 log t minus log of 2t plus 1 is equal to minus 2 log x plus 2 log c. So thus we eliminated the denominator over here from here. Now remember, we had substituted t, isn't it? We had substituted y as t into x. Okay, we had substituted this way. That is, if you remember from the beginning of the sum, we had put y is equal to t into x. So we resubstitute, we put t as y upon x in this case. So resubstituting, y is equal to, that is t is equal to y upon x. Wherever t is there, let us put it as y upon x in this case. So therefore, we get 2 log, instead of t, we put y upon x minus log of mod of 2 y upon x plus 1 minus 2 log is equal to minus 2 log x. RHS remains the same. This way. Then see, look carefully now what is done. Now log y upon x is the same as log y minus log x. See, remember, when two logs are subtracted, you can combine them by dividing them. The same thing, the reverse, that is y upon x, log y upon x can be written as 2 log y minus 2 log x. So therefore we get over here 2 log y minus 2 log x minus, again the same thing is done over here also, log of 2y plus, now cross multiply, okay, 2y plus x upon x. Now that upon x can be written as minus log x. So minus log x. This way we separate out the logs. This way. On the RHS, minus 2 log x plus 2 log c. So this we have got the same thing on the RHS. Now what we observe is that these terms, that is minus 2 log x, on the LHS as well as the RHS is there. So we can just cancel it out. So now it will become little more simpler for us to do, and therefore we get over here, it becomes, now see, now observe what is being done over here. See, 2 log mod of y. Now this 2 can be written as a power over here. Again, you know that is a rule of logarithms. We can use that. So here we get log of mod of y square. Okay? See, 2 log y is written as log y square minus log of 2y plus x is equal to, that is minus log x. Okay, that minus log x, see, because of this minus sign, actually what should have been done is that when we did minus log x over here, when we wrote minus log x here, we should have put a minus into minus, a plus sign. So this becomes a plus sign actually. So plus log x is equal to 2 log c. This way. Now let us make all the terms positive. So we take this negative term and send it to the RHS actually. So we get log y square plus log x is equal to log of 2y plus x. It went to the RHS and became positive, plus 2 log c. Now 2 log c can also be written as log c square, just like we did over here. Now we wrote 2 log y as y square. We'll write this as log c the whole square. So let me write this over here as log c square. This way. Now see, now we come to the last part of the sum where we combine the logs, because we see that only logs are there. There are no powers and all which are attached over here. And thus we come to the last part of the sum. So therefore we combine the logs. So we have log, there is a plus sign between, and so we can write log xy square. Log xy square is equal to log 2y plus x into c. Okay, over here also we combine the logs. C square it is. Now log terms are cancelled from both the sides, and therefore we get our final answer, which is x y square is equal to c square into 2y plus x. So thus finally we get our answer for the differential equation. So that's all for today, folks. I leave it to you to understand the concept in a better manner. We can cover the rest of the sums in the next lecture. So thank you for listening.